Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 13 over-unders. Let's get this money. First game, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. Over-under 42. I'm going to go with a surprise over. And I know both offenses, they both lack a little bit of explosion. They both lack consistency. But Kenny Pickett and the Steelers have been moving the ball. And it's always great to see that Atlanta defense on the other side. I think Pitt gets into the 20s. And honestly, I think the Falcons can too. Even though the Steelers looked really good on defense against Matt Ryan, I think we have to take that with a grain of salt when you look at the coaching, when you look at the game plan that the Colts had. And the Falcons always seem to be able to grind out drives, grind out touchdowns. I think the Falcons get in the 20s. I'm going over the 42. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. Over, under 46.5. Money. I'm going over. And listen, be cautious about this one. But I have to stick to my guns. And when I look at this Texans defense, I see a team that's tanking. I see a team that might have thrown in the towel 2 or 3 weeks ago. Let's be honest about it. And you got Deshaun Watson coming back from a long layoff. I know he was absolutely horrendous in the one preseason performance he had. But when you look at this Texans defense, they are the worst in the league against the run. You got Nick Chubb. You got a pretty good offensive line. And you got a Browns team that's been in a ton of close games, yet they've underachieved this whole damn season. Deshaun will actually help this offense. I don't think it will be this week, but it will be in the future. But I believe the Browns get into the 30s. Texans and Kyle Allen are always due for a few garbage points. I like the over, make it a money pick. Next game, Thursday Night Football. We got the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. Hoodie. Over, under 43.5. I'm going under here. And I think the Bills have a damn good game on offense. I don't think the hoodie will find the adjustments to stop him. I don't think it will be like the playoff game of the Bills hanging 40. But I do think the Bills get 24, 27 points here. But I'm going under because of Mac Jones and the Patriots. Yes, Mac moved it last week against the Minnesota Vikings, but I'm not buying into it. I think it was more of an outlier than what's actually going on with that offense. And Bills need to come out and play a good game. To be quite honest, I haven't seen the Bills play a good game in 4 or 5 weeks. Bills defense really needs to respond here. The Lions' backup O-line pushed them around. They have to respond. And if you stop the Pats' run game, they're pretty much stuck in the mud. I'm going under the 43.5. Next game, we got the Denver Broncos at the Baltimore Ravens. Over, under 38.5. When you say Broncos, I say under. We've been going under pretty much every week on them. I think the Broncos are averaging, like 14, 15.5 points a game. I don't think they do their part. I think the Ravens could have a good game on offense, but I think this is more about the Broncos being trash. I'm going under the 38.5. Next game, we got the New York Jets at the Minnesota Vikings. Over, under 44.5. Money. I'm going under. I'll let you guys get excited about Mike White. I'm not going there. Can I add a little bit of context to the Mike White stuff last week? I give full credit to him, and I've been saying all year, Zach Wilson's a bottom 3 quarterback, and he's probably even worse than that. So give credit to Mike White for what he did last week, But that Bears defense, they've lost their two best players via trade. They're completely decimated by injury. Can we just calm down a little bit with the Mike White stuff? I think the Vikings pass rush gets to them. And the thing with the Jets is, ever since Elijah Vera Tucker and Breece Hall got injured for the season, they just haven't been able to run the ball or pound teams. I think the Vikings stop the run, and I don't think Mike White does much. I also think the Vikings offensive line, maybe Darrisaw's back, probably not. Even if Darrisaw's back, I think the Vikings O-line struggles with this Jets front, and we'll see what Sauce can do against Justin Jefferson. Should be a fun matchup to watch, but I absolutely love the under. Kirk gets sacked a lot. Mike White doesn't play good. Next game, we got the Jacksonville Jags at the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell. Over, under 51.5. I'm going over. I went back and forth on this one all day. Now, normally we like making the money pick on Lions games to go over. I had the under last week, but I think this skims over. Not because both defenses completely struggle. I think it's because this is going to be a close game with potential to enter overtime. And whenever you get a really close game in the fourth quarter, you always have to kind of lean towards over. I'm looking at Lawrence. I absolutely love what he did last week. We've been talking and hyping this kid up forever. I'm glad to finally see him get it done. And as for the Lions got run past balance, man. And Johnson, the offense coordinator, has a wicked play-action game. And I think this Jags secondary is vulnerable. I think Goff goes for over 300. I think Trevor has a good day as well. I'm going over the 51.5. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. Best gambling show on the internet. Lawson Bets NFL on Instagram. Add me. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. Over, under 43.5. Money, money, money. Money. Borderline. I'm going over. And like I said earlier, that Bears defense gave no resistance to Mike White. Looks like Aaron Rodgers will play. I think the Packers get into the 30s. The Bears can't rush the passer, and the Bills can't stop the run. Rodgers will get these Packers into the 30s. I know. Saying the Packers will get to the 30s was crazy talk until last week. Now, I don't think the Packers have found themselves. I don't think the Packers will play necessarily good ball. But this Joe Barry Packers defense always makes 2 or 3 crucial bonehead mistakes. Bears, I don't think Fields is going to play, but whoever plays quarterback for the Bears, I think the Bears can get 14 points. Packers are into the 30s. Give me the over. I really like it. Make it a money pick. But like I said, watch who's starting. The Bears quarterback situation is really brutal right now. Next game, we got the Washington Commanders at the New York Giants. Over, under 40.5. I'm going under. I see a 2017 game. Whoever gets to 20 wins the game. I didn't like what I saw out of Heineke last week. The no-names ran it pretty good, and we know Atlanta can't cover anyone, but Taylor Heineke kept Atlanta in that game. I think Taylor Heineke turns it over at least 2 times this game. As for the Giants, this is a tough Commanders team to run the ball against. This really is, and that's what the Giants like to do most. I think Daniel Jones will keep moving the ball. I think they'll get some points on the board, but not enough to push this over. I'm going under the 40.5. I really like it. Next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks Hawks at the Los Angeles Rams. Over, under 41.5. I'm going over. Not a lot of science here. I think the Seahawks can get to the 30s. I think this Rams defense is completely given up. I don't think there's another way to phrase it, another way for me to say it. I just think they've given up. And when they don't got Stafford, I know that brings questions, but McVay will generate enough points to push this towards over. Geno Smith has another big day like he had against the Raiders. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins. Fins at the San Francisco 49ers. Over, under 46.5. I'm going to go under, but just barely. Just barely. I think Miami's defense has a good performance. And you remember against the Bills, they had a good performance, and they've had some bad performances since then. But I feel like they finally figured out stuff on that Miami defense. And I'm not on the Jimmy G train. I'm off of that. He wasn't good against the Saints. I know the San Fran defense is absolutely legit. I do think Tua moves the ball, but like I said, San Fran has a legit defense. They will make the Dolphins kick field goals. Dolphins have been absolutely killers in the red zone this year. I think the Dolphins can get to the 20s. I do think the 49ers struggle on offense. That's why I like the under 46.5. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Philadelphia Eagles. Over, under 44.5. I'm going under. And listen, this Eagles team has explosion on offense, and their defense has been struggling, let's be honest about it. But I love this under, because when I'm looking at the Titans, they should slow the game down, man. It's like 80s, late 70s football. It's not pretty, it's not beautiful, but it's been pretty damn effective. And Derrick Henry was shut down by the Bengals last week, absolutely shut down. But we know the Eagles' biggest weakness they have on their squad is stopping the run. I think Henry has a bounce-back day. I think they're able to run the rock, able to keep Hurts and that powerful O on the bench. And then also the Eagles need to learn how to throw the ball again. I mean, that 350, 370, whatever the hell it was, rushing yards last week was pretty awesome. Let's be real. For a football purist, you got to love to see that run action. But I don't know if that's sustainable, and I think they have to use these thoroughbreds on the outside. I'm going under because I don't think they'll throw it good enough. Next game, we got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Las Vegas Raiders. Over, under 50.5. I'm going under. And a similar methodology. Chargers are bottom 5, bottom 6 in run defense. Josh Jacobs is gaining heat. He is gaining steam as the season goes on. I think he has a good game, and I think he keeps Herbert on the bench. And this Raiders defense is absolutely garbage. Like, we saw how bad they were in the secondary last week against the Hawks. But the Chargers really aren't a team to beat this Raiders defense. Raiders are pretty good against the run. They like to sit in zone, make tackles underneath. Well, that's what Herbert's going to get you. He's not going to attack teams vertically anymore. It's not because of Herbert. It's more about the scheme and the lack of speed and explosiveness at the wide receiver for the Chargers. Think the Raiders play zone, keep everything in front, get 3 or 4 stops. I think that'll be enough to keep this under the 50.5. Next game, we got Sunday Night Football. We got the Indianapolis Colts at the Dallas Cowboys. Them boys. Over, under 43.5. Money, money, money. Money. I'm going under. Listen, Matt Ryan is done. And we knew that, and you knew that, I knew that, we all knew it. Listen, you look at this Colts offense, the scheme is really, really simple. They have maybe 3 or 4 or 5 formations at most. They spend a ton of time in shotgun, and their offensive line can't pass block to save their lives. Cowboys will focus on stopping the run here, and then everything else will slide, or should I say cascade into place with Micah Parsons hitting Matt Ryan repeatedly until Sam Ehlinger comes in the game. I just think the Cowboys hold them under 13 points. I can't see the Colts passing 14, 13 points in this game. And You got a Colts defense. If they come to play, they will be able to play competitive football with the Cowboys. Colts defense hasn't gotten a lot of credit this year, but I'll give them it. I think they're able to play tough with the Cowboys. I think they get the run defense a lot better than it was against Pitt. I don't know what the hell they were doing. I'm going under, making a money pick for Sunday Night Football. Next game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Cincinnati Bengals, over, under 52.5. I think this is too high. I'm going under. I think it's just too high, and we know when you say Chiefs, I say over. We get it. We've been doing it for years, but I think this is a game to go under. I think the tempo of this game will be a little bit slower than normal. But I also think this Chiefs defense is capable of having a good day. Bengals offensive line was pretty damn good against the Titans last week, but I still have questions about it. Jamar Chase coming back, but what will his strength level be? But I can see Spagnuolo confusing the Bengals a little bit, playing a lot of man-to-man, and Joe Burrow has been turning it over. For me, man, when I look at this Chiefs offense, they got 3 wide receivers who didn't practice Wednesday. Tony didn't practice. Listen, I do think 2 of those guys plays. I do think Juju plays. But I don't think the Chiefs are going to go for 35 or 38 this game. I see a 27-20 win for the Chiefs. Maybe a 30-20 game. I'm going under. Next game, we got the New Orleans Saints, Nolans, at the Tampa Bay Bucks, over, under 40. I'm going under. Listen, both of these teams lack explosion, and when you look at these rosters, it really confuses you. But this Bucs offense is just ugly to watch. I think a lot of it's with Leftwich. I think Brady really has to take control of the play calling at this point, because they're running it up the middle on first down. Getting 2 centimeters hasn't been the game plan all year, and it's not going to work now. I think the Saints defense plays a good game. They're very good against Jimmy G, and they're getting healthier as the year goes on. And this Bucs offensive line, they're vanilla in the middle, in the interior. I think the Saints will stop the run and even get to Brady up the middle. I just don't see a lot of offensive action. The Saints really need to go to famous Jameis Winston. I don't know what's holding them with Andy Dalton. Maybe Dennis Allen has something against famous Jameis. I don't know the full story, but with Andy Dalton playing the way he is, and with this Bucs offensive line playing the way they are, and with the Bucs trying to run it up the middle every single first down, I just don't see an alternative solution to under the 40. And I know 40 is about as low as it's going to get in a Tom Brady game with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and all those dogs on the outside. But they just aren't playing good. They're out of sync. They're out of symbiosis, and they're methodical, not in a good way. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. The best gambling show on the internet. Thank you. Patreon, link in the description. $5 a month. You'll get every bet your boy makes. Let's get this money.
How many days it gonna take? You switch on me and I ain't get a break. If I hop off, then the levee gon' break. If I take 2, then I'm off into space. Put all that down, pour all that out. I'm done without, we on the now. Step up the step, day by the day. Live for the night and I'm never gon' break. Yeah.
Step by step by step by step. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Step by step by step by step. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Moving forward on the glory, up and onward, write the story. Little further, I can see it. We will be there before you know.
This life can get you down, down, down.
Just keep yourself around.